Very good afternoon. Namaste to all dear learners. Myself Dr. Mahesh Singh, Professor Plant Pathology in College of Agricultural Sciences, Tirthankar Mahavir University, Moradabad, Uttar Pradesh. Welcome you all once again in NIOS live studio program. Dear learners, today we will discuss about cultural and chemical practices for minimizing pest and disease incidents in rice. Dear learners, in detail we will study about the integrated pest and disease management, you can say in short, in rice crop. Basically, everyone is rice is a very staple food. That's why it is a very important to know in detail what are the factors that are hinder the yield basically. So dear learners, the objective for the today's session is to teach the student or learners about the symptoms, etiology, disease cycle, identification of insect pest and suitable management practices for major diseases as well as insect pest in rice crop for better and assured yield. Dear learners, at the end of the session you will be able to understand about the diseases, economic loss, their causal agent, symptoms in detail, what are the favorable conditions for the spread of the pathogen, as well as what are the disease cycle for particular disease, either bacterial diseases, fungal or viral, etc., and as well as the insect pest incidents also, and their identification of the insect pest and suitable management practices. Basically we will focus on integrated pest disease management such as cultural, chemical, biological, etc. for rice crop. So dear learners, as you know, rice it is known as Oryza sativa. It is a major cereal crops belonging to the family Poaceae. It is a most important staple cereal crops which is consumed by the more than 50% of the world population. However, it is cultivated and rice is often challenged by the presence of various diseases as well as insect pest nowadays, but it significantly impact on the yield as well as quality also, and farmers get loss as estimated average about the 37% or sometime more than that, and the biotic stresses it poses the continuous threat to the rice production, about the 37% or more than that cause the impact and management strategy also. So dear learners, the rice diseases caused by the fungi, bacteria, viruses, nematode that can affect different parts of the rice plants, and these diseases can lead to the reduction in photosynthesis process, nutrient uptake, and even the plant death also, so that it causes highly yield loss. And insect pest is another major challenges in rice cultivation that causing the damage by feeding on various plant parts, and it may transmit the so many kinds of diseases also. And insect pest can hinder the rice growth that can reduce directly yield as well as quality also. Dear learners, these are the some important list of the diseases of rice crop. First is brown spot of rice, we will discuss in detail later, and rice blast, it is a fungal disease. Tungro disease of rice, Khaira disease, it is basically a deficiency of rice, and bacterial leaf blight, sheath blight of rice, false smut, rice grassy stunt, and bacterial stripe diseases, grain rot, foot rot, sheath rot, as well as grain discoloration. So these are some important and major diseases of rice, and some important insect pest is also for affecting the rice crop, that is grasshopper, leafhopper, stem borer, cutworms, mealybug, and gall maize also. So these are the some important diseases as well as insect pests which are responsible to affect the rice crop. And you know about the brown leaf spot of rice. Basically, brown leaf spot of rice is a fungal disease that affect on the leaves, leaf sheath, panicles, branches, and legumes also. And it is also known as helminthоспorosis disease of rice, and it is a disease widespread. You can occurrence of this disease is widespread, means worldwide occurrence are there. And the brown leaf spot of rice is one of the most serious disease that can affect the growing rice crop. Basically, this disease is the principal cause of the famous Bengal famine. I think you know about this. It was very serious in 1942 to 1943, which result in the death of the millions of the people due to the malnutrition or so many kind of diseases also. And this disease, however, is widely distributed throughout the country, especially along with the state of the Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and so many condition. It infect maybe up to 90%. It's depend upon the severity of the pathogen. And you know, it is the causal organism of this disease is Bipolaris oryzae, that is earlier known as Helminthоспorium oryzae. And the symptoms, you know about the symptoms. Basically, the fungal attacks on the crop from the seedling to milking stage. So it is very important to understand about the symptoms. When the if you detect the symptoms in early stage, that's why you will minimize the disease severity in detail. And the symptoms appears as a minute spots on the coleoptile leaves and leaf blades, leaf sheaths, and legumes also. So that's why the spots become cylindrical to oval shape. So sometimes it looks like in dark brown to yellowish in color, and sometimes it become the circular also. And sometimes several spots may collapse together to form the larger area, and it's become the leaves become dried. And the disease cycle, you know, infected seeds means it is basically seed borns. The stubbles are the most common source of the primary infection. So seed borne as well as the infected stubbles of the primary sources, it cause the primary infection. The conidia present on infected grains and mycelium in the infected tissues are viable for 2 to 3 years. So dear learners, this is a very important, because the conidia survive in the soil in the form of mycelium, or in the form of conidia in dried and dead cells, dead the organic material. And the airborne conidia infect the plants both in nursery as well as in main field. So dear learners, this is a very important to know the way of the fungal infection. And the fungal infection also survives on the collateral host, and the favorable conditions for the infection is about the 25 to 30 degrees centigrade, as well as relative humidity is more than 75% if favor the disease severity. And dear learners, the disease management, how you will manage the disease, basically the first is cultural practices. Proper spacing between the plants to plant and row to row should be maintained, and good drainage should be there, and avoid the excessive nitrogenous fertilizer that can help to reduce the disease severity. And the field sanitation, it is very important to use the healthy seed should be prepared, and the stubble should be destroyed after the harvesting to avoid the soil borne inoculum. After the harvesting of the crop, you have to maintain or discard the stubble if the infection is there. That's why the next coming season you will treat the inoculum or minimize the inoculum potential. And the use of slow release nitrogenous fertilizer is advisable to minimize the disease severity. And crop rotation is one of the very important practices to non-host crop can helps to reduce the overwintering source of pathogen. And timely planting is also helps to reduce the disease severity. And basically since the disease is seed borne, and that's why you have to treat the seed by the means of so many fungi like aggression, thyrum, captan, etc. You have to take this quantity of the fungicide, means 0.25 gram of the fungicide with or 4 gram of the fungicide per kilogram of the seed you can use. And hot water treatment is also advisable, 55 degree centigrade at the temperature for 10 minutes. It's give the better result. And you can spray the crop in spray the fungicide in the main field like mancozeb 2 kilogram per hectare. It is advisable to it's give the better result. And basically the this disease is minimized by this integrated pest and disease management practices. And the next disease is blast disease of rice. Dear learners, the blast disease of rice is another important disease of rice. It is very important to understand about this to minimize this disease. And the blast disease of rice was first recorded in China in 1637. In Japan, it was also believed to have to recorded as early as 1744. And in Italy, it was also disease called bronze, and it was reported in 1828. And in USA, it was also recorded in 1876. And in India, the disease was first recorded from the Tanjore district of Tamil Nadu in 1918. And this the pathogen caused the yield loss ranging from the 32 to 60%, about the 60%, depending on the again the severity of the infection, and sometimes 70 or 80%, and it's depend on the severity. So dear learners, about the causal organism and symptoms, the Pyracularia oryzae is the responsible to cause this disease. And the symptoms, basically the fungal attack the crop at all the stages from seedling to main field. And the typical symptoms appears on the leaves, leaf sheath, rakish, nodes, as well as even the glooms also. And there are the basically three types of the symptoms: leaf blast, node blast, and neck blast. So dear learners, leaf blast basically it initially is small diamond shaped and lessens, basically gray centered and margin appears on the leaves, and the spots increases in size at the time to time, and this lesion can expand and make collapse together to form the larger area. And the node blast, basically the nodes of the rice stem get affected, and the nodes can be affected and by the brownish to blackish spots and may lose over there. And neck blast, basically the fungus infect the neck region of the panicles, that causing the prematurely death of the seedlings. And the results, the rotten neck, and it reduce the grain formation also. So that's why the whole panicles may affected, and the plants get dry. And how you can identify the disease survival or disease cycle? The fungus basically survive between the cropping season on the infected rice residues basically, and as well as sometime weed host also, and some volunteer plants as well. The conidia is easily dispersed by wind, by means of water, or sometime other sources also. And secondary infection, it release the conidia can carried by wind and through rain also. The disease cycles can repeat multiple times within a single growing season. So it is a very challenging to manage or reduce the disease severity. And you may the favorable conditions for this disease is basically nitrogenous fertilizers. If you are applying in excess dose, and basically low night temperature between 15 to 20 degrees centigrade is also favor the disease severity, and more number of rainy days or longer duration of the dew, cloudy weather is favor the disease severity. And dear learners, the disease management, it is important to know how you can manage this disease. Basically for managing the disease, rice blast of disease, it involves the combination of the practices like cultural practices and chemical as well as biological also. So since integrated management is often the most effective approach, so you can use the various method for the minimizing our disease management practices. Use resistant variety. First of all, you have to use or you have to identify the resistant variety. So many resistant varieties are available in your region, that's why you have to select resistant variety against rice blast disease. And crop rotation, second point is crop rotation. You have to rotate crop or avoid the planting of the rice in same field continuously. So that rotation of the crop is with the help of non-host crop is important. And sanitation practices is also proper management of the crop residues is crucial. That's why you have to, after the harvest, you have to plow under the remove the crop as well as residues also to survival of the fungus. Dear learners, the monitoring of the early detection, it is very important. If you detect early of the infection, means primary infection, the stage of the primary infection, so that you can treat the same time. That's why plant rice early in the season. You have to grow the means you have to set the planting time, adjust the planting time to escape the peak season of the or peak pressure of the disease. And fertilizer, basically nutrient management, basically balanced dose of the fertilizer you have to manage. Basically it help to promote the plant health, and it making them less susceptible to disease like rice blast. You have to avoid overhead irrigation, and fungicide, you have to apply fungicide in case where the disease pressure is very high. You have to apply the fungicide like mancozebs at the rate of 75% vegetable powder as the combination of the carbendazim 25% plus mancozeb 50%, it can be effective against this disease. And dear learners, next disease is bacterial leaf blight of rice. Bacterial leaf blight of rice, basically it is the bacterial disease, and it is another most important or significant disease of rice that caused by the bacterium Xanthomonas oryzae, that is Pathovar oryzae, and it was first reported by the farmers of Japan in 1884, and it later on it was reported from all over the world, and it affect the rice plant during the growth stage, and it is a major concern for the rice farmers nowadays, and the yield loss because it is a very important disease, so that it depend on the seasons, weather, cultivars, as well as the application of the amount of the nitrogenous fertilizers that may lose up to 60% or sometime more than that. It impact the food security and livelihood in all rice growing region. So that's why it is a very challenging disease also, and the pathogen, as you know, it is Xanthomonas oryzae, Pathovar oryzae, and the symptoms you can easily identify the symptoms in rice crop. Basically, the initial symptoms appears as watery soaked lesion on the leaves, and sometimes lesion turn yellowish in color, and eventually the necrotic or dead like cells are there, and it form the irregular, basically irregular type of dead cells are there, and translucent area with yellowish hollow also. So lesion collapse that causing the leaves to the wither, and some after that it get died, and in severe cases the disease can spread to the panicles that affecting the grain developments. And this is the photographs of the bacterial blight of the rice. You can get easily identify the symptoms as well. And dear learners, the disease cycle, how the pathogens survive and infect the main crop. The bacterium can survive in infected plant debris and in seed as well. And the inoculum production means bacteria are the released from the infected plant parts when rain or irrigation splashes onto the plants, and the bacterium can enter the through the basically natural openings like stomata, or if the wounds or injuries are there, then the bacteria can get easily enter in the plant cells, and after that the bacteria multiply and spread within the plant cells, and that causing the damage. And disease is spread after that. Bacteria are spread through the rain or wind also, and sometimes irrigation water also. And secondary infection may get spread by the means of the new plants, and initial new infection also, initiating the new infection also, and the panicle infection as well also. And how you can manage the disease, basically the seed treatment, because it is a seed borne disease. You have to treat the seed, or first of all you have to use certified seed or disease free seed to avoid or introduction of the bacterium in main field. So that you have to take the certified seed. And after that, if you are taking the general seed, you have to treat the seed with hot water treatment about 50 degrees centigrade for 20 to 25 minutes. That can help to eliminate the bacterium from the infected seed. And in field sanitation, you have to remove and destroy infected plant debris to reduce the source of inoculum. And crop rotation is also helps to minimize the disease in severity, and you have to rotate the with the non-host crop to break the disease cycle. You have to avoid overhead irrigation, basically minimizing leaf wetness, and using the method of drip irrigation. You have to avoid the drip irrigation method, and for application of the nutrients fertilizer, you have to use the balanced dose of fertilizer, basically nitrogenous fertilizer, because if you make the use the over application of the nitrogenous fertilizer, the plant gets susceptible against that disease. And copper based spray like bactericide that can provide the some protection against the bacterial infection. You have to apply preventively or basically onset of the symptoms. Early detection means regular monitoring get the chance to minimize the disease effectively. And cultural practices, you have to take the so many kind of cultural practices, and basically combination of the multiple strategy, that is integrated pest management strategy, you have to apply. Dear learners, we will meet once again after a small break. Thank you. Dear learners, welcome back once again. Dear learners, we had discussed about the in detail about brown leaf spot of rice, bacterial leaf blast of rice, and neck blast like that. And now we will discuss about the false smut of rice. Dear learners, the next disease is false smut. It is a fungal disease also, and basically false smut of rice is caused by fungus Astilaginodia virens. It has been reported in various rice growing regions around the world, and it is a most prevalent in areas where the warm and humid climates over there, and which are basically favorable for the fungal growth and disease development. And infected rice panicle often have reduced number of the healthy grains, and this results in the reduction of overall yield and economical loss for the farmers. False smut infected grains may contain mycotoxin, which are toxic compound produced by the fungi, and the symptoms basically the small balls appears on the in small at first and grow gradually up to the size of 1 centimeter, and the individual rice grain transform into the masses of yellowish fruiting bodies, and it seems to between the hulls as well as in it includes the floral parts also. So that's why the main grains of the rice is get damaged. That's why it causes the heavy yield loss, and the fungus growth infected the basically smut balls that burst, and it become the orange, then the later yellowish to green in color, and sometime greenish to blackish in color. Only few grains in panicles are usually infected, and the rest are normal, and the pathogen basically disease cycle, how it harbors in glooms as well as extra as well on the some gramineous weeds also. The seed have also been found to carry the pathogen in the pericarps and endocarps also, and the climatic conditions having the temperature 25 to 30 degrees centigrade are more than the 90% of the humidity, and cloudy weather or intermittent rainfall have prefer for the development and spread of the disease, and the continuous rain at the time of basically heading may lead to the heavy loss of the crop. It is also have been observed that the incidence of the blast disease increased with the increases of the dose of the nitrogenous fertilizer. And how you can manage this disease, basically sanitation practices, crop rotation practices, sanitation like the removal and destruction of the infected plant materials to reduce the source of inoculum, and it includes the basically infected panicles, stubbles as well as weeds also, and the rotation of the crop is also important to implement a proper crop rotation practices to break the disease cycle. Dear learners, you have to use the resistant variety or tolerant rice varieties is one of the most effective way to manage the false smut of the disease, and the seed treatment is another most important practices to minimizing the disease severity, you have to use fungicide like carbendazim at the rate of 2 gram per kilogram of the seed before planting. It can helps to prevent the initial infection of the fungus, and at the time of the harvesting of the disease plant, it should be removed and destroyed so that the sclerosia do not fall on the field. That's why you have to carefully remove at the time of the harvesting. And you have to proper planting time, means you have to adjust the proper planting time. Basically you have to avoid the favorable condition of the disease development, and proper fertilization is also important. You have to avoid excessive nitrogen fertilizers. You have to follow recommended dose of the fertilizer as per your requirement of the soil, and avoid overhead irrigation. False smut is spread through the water splashes, so you have to avoid overhead irrigation. You have to use fungicide, basically chemical fungicide, like at the time of the severe condition, like oxychloride, copper oxychloride at the rate of 2.5 gram per liter of the water, or propiconazole. You have to use propiconazole at the rate of 1 ml per liter of the water. And you have to at the tillering and you have to basically prepare the at the time of the flowering stages. You have to use hexaconazole at the rate of 1 ml per liter of the water. And basically next important insect pest, we will discuss about the now important insect pest of the rice crop. So first is grasshopper. Dear learners, grasshopper, everyone knows about, are familiar about the grasshopper. It is a basically important pest of the rice. It causes heavy damage to rice crop when they feed on the plants. The extent of the damage, it depends on the factors such as grasshopper population density or rice growth stages. If the infected it get infect on the early stage of the rice, so that the damage may cause heavy. So that it is a very important to understand about the detail about how you can identify the grasshopper in your field. The body is a shiny grayish to yellowish color with 3 black lines on its upper side, and it is easily early stages. The young are yellowish with the many reddish brown spots are found over there, and they become greenish to the grow and older stage. And the adults are basically, they are young and mostly found near the grasses and water channels as well. And it can cause the damage, basically the damage caused by the adults as well as young that's why they eat the leaves at the side of the side. First time eat the leaves sidewise, and after that the rice grasshopper feed on the leaves as well as stems, seeds of the rice plants also. And large population of the leaves damage, and they can consumed as well. And the irregular feeding on the and the seedlings as well as leaf blades also. And during the basically in the month of August to September, they can cause the heavy damage in the main field. And rice grasshoppers also feed on the grains, that resulting the empty panicles at the time of the basically milking stage of the rice. And dear learners, how you can manage this kind of insect pest? Basically managing the grasshopper in rice field, that involve in the combination of the preventive measures like cultural, biological, chemical, so many things. Means integrated pest management practices is preferred. And you have to first of all regular monitoring of your rice field to detect grasshopper population at early stage. To avoid sowing alternate host plant near the rice crop, you have to remove and clean field basically borders by the removing weeds and grasses areas and where the grasshopper habitats are there, and dusting the crops with the 5 to 10% methyl parathion or 2% at the rate of 25 to 30 kilogram per hectare. And dear learners, the next important insect pest are stem borers. Stem borers is another next important insect pest that basically it is a major pest of the rice crop that can cause the significant damage and yield loss in the if not managed effectively. This insect borer bores into the rice plant that feeding on the internal tissues as well, which can lead to the losing or reduce the grain of filling. And if the extent of the crop damage and loss caused by the stem borers depend on the various factors including pest density, rice growth stage, as well as environmental conditions. And basically how you can identify these stem borers, it presents up the brown colored egg masses near the leaf tip. You can identify the if the stem borer are there, then the egg mass near the leaf tip may found, and the vegetative stage larva enters the stem and feed on the growing shoot and causes drying of the central shoot, that is known as dead heart. It in growing up plant, a whole ear may get become dried and yield of the grain may called white ear. And basically the damage of the vegetative phase, the central shoot dies and turning yellowish to dead heart also, and ear bearing stage, the ear head appears completely chaffy and white in color. Both come out easily when if you pulled up down up, it may get easily uprooted. And by the damage of the crop, you can see here the in photograph how whitish color of the panicles you can find in the main field. And the management, basically the cultural management is very important to minimizing the insect pest severity. And field should be basically it should be the if the volunteer plants are there, then the crop you have to remove that early stages and remove, and the proper dispersal of the stubbles is very important. And you can grow the resistant variety available in the market. And you can collect and destroy the egg masses at early stages. You can pull out and destroy the affected tillers as well. And the stem borer you can manage by the means of the trap, using the trap like a light trap. 5 light trap per hectare is advised, means attract the and it may kill the moth as well. And the set of the birds that purchase to the encourage of the birds also, and use the pheromones trap as well to control the rice stem borers. Dear learners, you can also use the chemical pesticide like quinolphos, phosphomidon, or profenophos also. So you can use if not managed by the cultural practices or other practices, so you have to use the chemical pesticide as well. And next insect pest is cutworm of rice crop. Dear learners, it is also important insect pest. Cutworm are the leaves of the various moth species feed on the plant stems, that cutting down of the young plants. Basically these pests are the nocturnal that can feed on the primary attack of the young tenders plant, that cutting them off at the base basically. Their feeding habit can lead to the significant crop loss, and effective management is crucial to minimizing their impact on the rice yield and ensure the healthy crop development. And how you can identify this insect pest? Basically, it is in the color. It look like gray in color, gray, sometimes brown or black in color, and shiny or grassy looks, and 1.5 to 2 inch in length, and the shape is basically smooth to cylindrical body, and sometimes curl or in the C letter shape also. And basically the life cycle of this is brief to over that. The life stage are basically egg, larva, pupa and adult moth. And how the symptoms and infestation are there? Basically, cutworms serves on the young plants at the base having the cut stem, and the damage of the plant wilt with the it can die quickly, and stunted growth surviving the plants may experience in the reduce of the growth, means reduction of the growth of the plants is there, and patchy damage are found in the main field. Basically, it is visible in the presence of the cutworm larva around the damaged plants, and significant potential reduction in overall crop yield may detect, and the decreased quality, lower the quality of the harvested rice due to the found in the presence of this larva over the plants, and the plant development also. So means overall the quality of the plants get detect, and how you can manage by the means of the cultural practices. Dear learners, the crop rotation is one of the important. After that, field sanitation, removing the plant debris and weeds around your main field that can harbor the cutworms, and timely planting of the main crop is you have to avoid the peak cutworm activity to reduce the damage. And the next is a biological control. Dear learners, you have to use the biological control measures like natural predators such as birds, parasitic wasps, beneficial insects are there to feed the cutworms, and some other chemical controls are there. If the not managed by the biological or cultural practices, you have to use chlorpyrifos, cypermethrin or carbaryl or other chemicals. If not managed by means of biological and cultural practices, you have to use integrated pest management practices like using the mixed type of the cultural, biological as well as chemical control to combination of the all strategy to minimizing the cutworm incidents. Dear learners, this is all about for today's session. I hope this found a very informative session for you all. Thank you very much for your precious listening and learning. Thank you very much.